So you want to learn how to do a press to handstand, but you're a beginner and you don't know where to start. Well, in this video, I'm going to teach you everything that you need to know in order to get started on mastering this impressive skill.
We are the gym that teaches people how to move instead of just exercise, because we believe that health is about performance, not just body image.
I couldn't do a press to handstand only about 1.5 years ago, and learning it as an adult was very, very hard. I'm 40 years old now, and I really only started pursuing my journey in calisthenics and gymnastics about 3 years ago. And what I found is that a lot of the tutorials that are out there are really geared towards children, the way that children learn. So there's a lot of experts out there, people that are amazing at this kind of stuff, but when they learnt it as a kid, they don't understand how to teach it to an adult. And it just wasn't translating. There's a lot of tutorials that I've seen where people were just saying, just do this, and your body just doesn't go there. You just can't get into the position that they're saying, just do this as a beginner. So I had to learn how to do it as an adult, and now I know how to teach it to an adult, and that's what I'm going to show you right now. So 3 things you need to understand about a press to handstand. You need to develop flexibility, number 1. So you need to have a really good pancake. For a lot of people, I think their standards of a pancake that you need is a little bit higher than what I think you need. The better your pancake, the easier the press to handstand is. There's no doubt about that. I can now get my head down to the floor on a pancake, and that's made it way easier for me. But I think you can at least start the training when you can get your back to a 45-degree angle. That's the first thing I'm going to show you how to do, how you develop that level of flexibility. The second is the skill itself. So this is how the workout's going to progress as well. Then we work on the skills. So it's basically teaching the nervous system how to be able to press and compress the body at the same time. So by pressing, I mean pushing your hand away from the ground, and by compressing, I mean by sucking your torso and your legs together, which is what's required to achieve liftoff on a press to handstand. And then the last thing that we're going to do in this workout is to develop compression strength. So that's the strength that compresses your body together, like I just described there. So let's have a look at the mobility component of this. So the first thing that we're doing here for our warm-up is called the ostrich walk, and the ostrich walk is a really good way to dynamically warm up the hamstrings and also to increase your flexibility. So you can see I'm quite flexible, so I can easily touch the ground when I do this, but that's not your goal. That's a measurement of success. Your goal is to have both legs completely straight, have the majority of your weight on the front leg, and the front foot should step far enough just that the heel comes in line with the toes on the back leg. And then you're just going to bounce up and down twice, and then take another step and just keep going. You want to do this for anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes, depending on how cold you are. Okay, number 2, this is a weighted hamstring stretch. What you're going to do here is to hold on to a couple of dumbbells. It depends on your body weight, but I would recommend starting between 5 and 10 kilo dumbbell in each hand, and you can move up to 20 or 30. You can see in this video I'm using 25 kilo dumbbells. And what you're going to do is concentrate on scapular retraction. Scapular retraction is where you pull your shoulder blades back like that. So you're going to retract the scapula. We're also going to get an excessive arch in the back, as you can see me doing in this video, and then we're going to stretch forward as far as we can go to get a wicked stretch in the hamstrings, and we're going to hold this for 30 seconds. So the next one we're going to do is a bum elevated pancake. So what you're going to do is elevate your bum. The height that you elevate it is completely dependent on how flexible you are. Basically, when you go down in your pancake, you want to be able to get your back to a 45-degree angle to the ground at the end of your range of motion, and then you come back up. The way you do this is with a 10 kilo weight plate on your back. If you're a very light person, maybe under 50 kilos, maybe you want to only use a 5 kilo plate, but I find most people are okay with a 10 kilo plate. Then as you progress, you'll go to a 15 or a 20. But what we're going to do 3 reps with the toes pulled back in dorsiflexion. Then we're going to do 3 reps with the toes pointed in plantar flexion. And then at the end, we're going to do that twice, so that's going to be 12 reps. And at the end of the 12th rep, we're going to hold forward for 30 seconds. When we do this hold, we're going to push our knees down into the ground and tense our quads, suck our stomach in so that we're using the muscles to compress our body as well as the weight to push us down into that position, and hold for 30 seconds. So we're going to do this mobility routine 3 times through, or until you feel that your body has started to warm up. So if you don't feel that your body is warm enough yet, if your pancake hasn't progressed, you're going to need to do more, because if your pancake isn't at a good standard, there's no chance you're going to be able to do the press to handstand that's coming up. If you don't have the required level of flexibility, this might be what your entire workout is, because to be honest, if you can't get down to that 45-degree position of the pancake, then you're going to have very little chance of being able to do the next exercises that are coming up. There's a couple you might be able to do, but the majority of them, they require that level of flexibility. So get working on your flexibility, do that every single day, 6 days a week, always have 1 rest day, and hopefully in 3 to 6 months you should see a significant improvement in your flexibility, and you can get started on this. So now we're moving into the strength component, and the first exercise we're going to do here is a hanging knee lift. So you can see what I'm actually doing here is pushing away from the bar. The worst thing you can do here is pull to try and get you up. That doesn't help the press to handstand, because in the press to handstand we have to develop pushing strength. So we're trying to push the bar away from us, and then I'm going to activate my abs. So I'm going to switch my abs on. So you can see from the angle here that my abs are switching on, and I go into what's called a hollow body, and then I keep the abs switched on, raise my knees up, try and keep my abs engaged as I slowly lower my legs back down, and we're going to aim for between 5 and 10 reps of this one. If you can do this one easily enough, then we're going to do the eccentric hanging leg lifts, which is where you raise in the same way that I just showed you, but then you're going to straighten your legs out in front of you and lower them down. And if you can do that well enough, then we're going to get the toes right up to the bar, and then we're going to open and do a straddle eccentric hanging leg lift. And we're going to do only 3 of these, 2 or 3 of them, because we're just preparing the nervous system for the press to handstand. So the next one that we're going to do is we're going to do a football pike. So the easiest variation of this is we're going to start in a push-up position on the football, and I'm going to elevate and protract the shoulders and pike my body. So I'm using my core here to try and pull my hips over my shoulders, and what I'm trying to do is get a feeling of weightlessness in my feet so that all of the weight comes into my hands, and I feel like I'm ready to get that lift off into the press to handstand. If this is too easy for you, you can progress to using a medicine ball like this, where you start with either the football or the medicine ball roughly around the middle of your shin or just above the ankle, and you do the same thing again. And then the hardest variation is where you're going to have your feet on a gymnastics slider like what we've got here, and we'll have a little link here where you can get these yourself online. Next we're going to do an eccentric press to handstand. So this is where you're going to get, the closer your fingers are to the wall, the harder it is, but obviously the better it is. So if you're somebody that's really struggling with this movement, keep your fingers maybe anywhere from, I don't know, maybe half a foot away from the wall. But the goal would be to get your fingers right up to about 3 or 4 of your own finger widths apart from the, away from the wall. And what you're going to do is you're going to get up into a handstand, split your legs open into a straddle, and then you're going to only let the bum touch the wall, only the bum. And what we're working on here is the way that you compress in your hips and roll your hips forward. So as your legs go down, you want to roll from your bum down to your lumbar spine, and try and get your feet down as close to the ground as you can without the lumbar spine, without the lower back coming off the wall, and definitely not letting any other part of your body touch the wall. So if your head touches the wall or your shoulders touch the wall, it's a no rep. If your elbows bend, it's a no rep. So again, this is a harder movement. If I do still consider this a beginner progression for this. This is presuming that you already have a handstand, and if you don't have a handstand, I really wouldn't be working on a press to handstand. You want to be concentrating on getting a handstand first. But if you can do a handstand, you should be able to hold yourself in this position, and you can do that 45 degrees with the pancake. Then we're just going to work this, and we're going to do between 2 and 6 repetitions of this one. So you'll kick up, open your legs, and then go back down as slowly as you can, keeping your knees completely straight, trying to point your toes, trying to tense your quads the whole time, trying to suck your stomach in, and working that eccentric press to handstand. And that whole routine that I just showed you, that's all done as supersets. So you don't take more than about 10 or 15 second break between each set, and then at the end of it, you're going to rest for 3 minutes. Now we've saved the best for last. This is for sure the part of a press to handstand training that most people hate. It is very painful. It's a journey of millimeters. It's a very humbling experience, and that is compression strength. And what you're going to do right at the end of this workout, we're going to do 3 rounds of this compression routine. So first, we're going to get into a straddle position. We're going to put our fingertips on the ground. As you get better, you'll go down to having your palms on the ground, but as beginners, we're going to start with our fingertips. The further forward you can lean, the better it is. The more you can sit upright, the better it's going to be, and the more you can go into an anterior pelvic tilt by rocking the pelvis forward, the more rewarding this is going to be. So once you're in position, we're going to tense the quads, point the toes, and we're going to lift the legs off the ground and circle the legs outward for up to 10 repetitions, okay? So it's the best that you can do, up to 10 repetitions. Then you're gonna rest for 10 seconds, then you're gonna do the same thing again, but you circle the legs inwards for up to 10 repetitions. Then we're gonna rest for 10 seconds, you can shake your legs, then we're gonna do up to 10 straddle lifts, which is just straight up and down. Then we're gonna rest for 10 seconds, bring the legs together, and do the same thing again, but just in a pike position. This time we're gonna do up to 30 repetitions. We're gonna try and get 30 repetitions done. As soon as you finish this, you're going to do your best pancake. So if that means that you need to elevate your bum again, you'll do that. And we go back, grab the weight, and we're going to lean forward and try and do our best pancake. So 10 to 12 reps, and then a 30-second hold at the end. Once you're finished, you can rest for 2 to 3 minutes and repeat that routine 3 times. And that is the end of your beginner press to handstand workout. You're going to want to do this 2 times a week with at least a 2 or 3 day break between them. So we do this as part of our straight arm strength day, which means we do it on Wednesday and Saturday at Unity Gym. You really need that much rest between each time you do this. The mobility component you can do 6 days a week, and I actually highly recommend that you do the first part of this workout 6 days a week to really get your pancake going. That's a really important thing. You can also work your handstand, you can work your handstand 6 days a week as well, as long as you're not getting pain in your wrists or your shoulders or anything. But that is the routine that I use to get started on my press to handstand as an adult. And that is what got me to where I am today, being able to do a full press to handstand. Now, if you haven't seen it and you're a little bit advanced from this and you want to check out a more advanced press to handstand routine, have a look at the video. We'll link it in the description here, and you can see a more advanced press to handstand routine that I've been working on currently at the moment. Enjoy, guys. It's a game of millimeters. It's going to take time. Don't give up. No matter what happens, don't give up. Just keep working at it, and eventually you will nail that press to handstand.